rarity 8 sniper or blaster rifle that I'm also looking at.
Ooh.
It's from No Disintegrations.
Mm-hmm.
If Mouse is looking for a blaster rifle that rare, he will join.
So yeah, I don't know if Mouse would like know about it because it's definitely not something that would be common knowledge, I guess.
I think Jax, if Mouse was like, hey, I want to go buy a better gun, and like I want to buy a big gun, a big blaster gun.
Big gun.
I think Jax could probably point you in the right direction of that.
Yeah. But yeah, so there is a rarity 8 one that would be within my price range.
Alright, you said no disintegrations?
Yeah, it's the Precision X marksman rifle.
Yeah, and rarity 8 is one of those things that's like getting into pretty high rarity there. Precision X marksman rifle, yeah, almost maximum rarity. But it is within your price range, and to be fair, it is also not listed as restricted. So you wouldn't have to resort to the actual black market or anything like that. You could still potentially find it in.
There's
in
a rarity
places.
9 blaster pistol that Jax would do unspeakable things to get his hands on.
Indeed.
But it also costs $4.5 grand. So.
Oh,
okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I eventually want the E11S.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. Okay, so Precision X marksman rifle. Yes, I think that
repeating blaster.
I mean, perhaps we could find a repeating blaster too. Yeah, absolutely. We would have to see via our searching rolls. So I will advise you that like you can search for all of these things certainly, but it's going to take more and more time to do so. In order to like search through all of the things, and also the more rolls you make, the more chance there is for bad things to happen. Obviously, threat or stuff like that. So, I would advise that perhaps you should find the one that you really want, and perhaps do that first, and then work your way down from there.
Right.
Because, like I said, it is, and there's always the potential of gaining the attention of someone you may not want to gain the attention of. Because we also know that Druckenwell is not. Even though it's still within the Commonwealth and it's on a major trade route,
and take their shit.
Yeah, it's not necessarily the best place to become identified at. So, I think that Kin, at least you said, Jax and Mouse, you all are going to head out and conduct your mission, your search mission here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Dash, are you going with them?
No, I think he's heading a different direction because he's not looking for weapons. He's looking for armor and gear and equipment.
Sure. So perhaps you like all go to the marketplace and then split up from there.
So can I, because Jax has been to Druckenwell before, and he's had like business dealings on Druckenwell before, and he's gun crazy. Can I either have a boost to a roll or know of some seedy weapon orientated establishment that I would have gone to before to perv on their beauties? Which, I mean,
so let's see. Let's perhaps move everybody over here real quick. We get a visual representation of what's going on. Did anyone move?
I have not moved.
I have not
I
moved.
have not moved.
Okay, that's weird.
I shouldn't move.
Let's try one more time. Oh, okay.
Oh, hello.
Yeah,
okay.
Back at the sea.
We're good. Yeah, you're back at the ocean. That was weird. That took an extremely long time for whatever reason. So I think that what you say is completely fair. perhaps you have been here and perhaps you have seen things before. The only limiter here is that things change with time, and it's not necessarily what you saw before is not necessarily still here. So I think that perhaps there is some sort of roll that we can make to give yourself a bonus here,
Potentially
Jax.
a knowledge underworld.
I think that is probably the most fair of rolls that we can determine here.
We all know that when I upgrade a point that I don't have any points in, I then roll really, really well.
It's true. It's true.
I don't think that's canon.
So
It's definitely not canon.
So I'm gonna make it average. I was gonna make it hard, but I'll reduce the difficulty on this one because you do perhaps know the right buttons to push to get the food pellet of information. But I am going to upgrade it once, and I'm upgrading it once simply because there is the potential for extreme failure here, right? Like there's
Cool.
potential for something.
Can I get a boost dice?
I think this is to get your boost dice.
Oh, okay.
Does that make
Fair
sense?
enough.
Like this is
Sure.
to get your boost dice on the next roll or on the
Alright,
subsequent
sweet.
rolls. So whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that.
boy!
Nice. Well done. Cool. So you succeed, and you do. I think. What situation do you find yourself in? It's probably not like an old friend, but it probably is. You go to the place that you remember, right? Like maybe it was some stand that had some nice looking modifications out on a table, and you window shopped the first time, and when you get there, it's closed, right? But there's a sign on the door that, and this is your success, right? Because you knew to come here because they had some cool stuff. The sign on the door is kind of flashing like the holo display, right? And it says they've relocated. And then you're able to get the coordinates for a new location. So that's representative of your success and advantage here.
Cool.
You will get a
Can
boost
I
dice
use
to
the advantage
locating.
to say that everything will be free when we get there.
No. That's probably 2, maybe even 3 triumphs. So I think that in this scenario, you're going to get a blue dice to your search, and I think that you can throw that advantage for a blue dice to anything Mouse wants to search for as well.
Sweet.
So
Like
each of you can get a blue dice.
Combined weapons searchings.
Yeah, absolutely. So when the group of you arrives at the shop, you can see that it's been upgraded, right? The business has apparently been going well. And yeah, and as you would assume on any planet where there is possibility of unscrupulous activities going on, there's a Tridarian that runs this place. And yeah, of course. And he's fluttering around with his little wings and kind of assisting customers, and you can see there are a couple of other various aliens and humans that are also assisting other customers. It seems his staff has also increased. So things are going well for him, which probably means that he's, into things he shouldn't be into, because no one makes that many credits selling weapons and modifications on a side shop in a back alley, right? So you've got a pretty good feel, Jax, about what's going on here. So as you begin to look around, I think that it's probably an appropriate time to make the rolls to see if the things that you want are here. Now, it's not that they're here or not. It's that whether or not you're the generic, like, able to locate and get into and convince people that you're not the cops, etc., etc. Depending on how you roll. So typically when it comes to rarity, and these are both rare 6, right?
6 and 8.
Oh, 6 and 8, right. I forgot that you upgraded yours.
Aim big.
Yeah, I mean, hey, sometimes go big or go home, right?
Yeah.
So for you, it's gonna be an average check here, Jax, for you
And
to.
what am I
to
rolling?
Find your,
Perception?
so this is so it is it's typically based on location, items, rarity, technological status of the place you're at, etc., etc.
Alright.
But hold on. Oh, so I'm sorry. Typically, it's a knowledge check, but
Knowledge check.
I will say that you have already gained your knowledge here because you know
We found
where
the
to
shop,
go.
but can we
Yeah.
find what we're looking for?
You found
inside
the shop, but can you find what you're looking for exactly?
What are we doing? What kind of role is it?
So I think that here it's going to be. You can also use Streetwise. It says for this, Jax.
Oh, okay.
If you wanted to use Streetwise.
So is it between Streetwise and knowledge, or between Streetwise and perception?
Yeah, it's between Streetwise and knowledge. It's not necessarily perception because perceiving that the item is here is not really what you're doing.
Well, I'm ready to do my Streetwise check, and I have a blue dice, right?
Yes, and you get a free blue dice, and I'm upgrading it with the Destiny point
Oh,
because
I'm gonna
there's
upgrade it right back at you because that's how I roll.
there's always the potential for very bad things to happen.
Cool. All right, I'm ready. You ready?
Yeah, go for it.
So exciting.
Ooh,
Nice.
Good job.
So, Jax, you walk in, and the first grip you pick up it molds to your hand almost perfectly, and you know exactly
beautiful.
that this is the piece that you want.
Beautiful, beautiful.
I think that your threat here. There's 2 threat. I think that with that 2 threat, I will. I'm not going to impose strain upon you. I think that I'm going to add a black dice to Mouse's roll.
Oh, that's not fair.
Because I think that the explanation here is you get distracted by finding exactly what you need, that you're not able to help Mouse as much find what she needs. So Mouse is going to have a blue and a black added to her check when she gets to make it.
Okay, now what happens with does the success just mean success, or does
So
the amount of
so the amount of success here is that I think that 2 things occur. One, you find exactly what you're looking for, which is the grip, right? That was the whole purpose of the check. The second thing that occurs here, because you did get 5 successes, and that's quite a lot. I think the second thing here is that you probably the Tridarian himself comes up to you during the process. His name is probably Gamma or Gamma, for being fair. And as he comes up to you, he's like, "Hey, well, I see you found a nice grape there."
Okay, so I wasn't prepared for this. Yeah, it fits like a glove. Wow, I really was unprepared for that.
He holds out his long insectoid looking hand and he says, "Ha ha! Yes, well, only the best things here at Gamma's shop. I'm glad to be of business. Say, what's your name, fellow traveler?"
I'm Jax. I don't know if I used to stop by your stall way back when.
Ah, yes. How the times have changed. Well, I think that we can certainly give you perhaps even a bit of a discount if you promise to do your business with us in the future. What do you say?
Yeah, works for me.
Okay. Yeah, so you think that he flutters over to the equivalent of a register. And as you follow over, you distracted, you're elated, you found the thing that you want. So typically the cost of this is what? It's like 600 credits, right?
No, it's 500 credits, but I
500.
want to spend 100 credits to get the materials to be able to upgrade it as well.
Right. So you want to spend 600 to be able to
Mm-hmm.
get the whole thing. Okay. So I think that the deal here is he says he'll throw in the materials for free to upgrade it. Because
Cool.
He probably makes some quip about how there's only one grip for every person, and I'd be hard pressed to sell that to a better fit than you, and he's schmoozing you like he does.
And while I'm at it, I'll also buy a blaster actuating I'll buy a blaster actuating module off him as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that he's happy because he thinks he upsold you, right? Maybe he didn't know you were considering that anyway in the first place, and now that you're buying something else, he feels confident that he's done his job properly. And you I I guess you're able to exit the store, or at least exit that transaction with everything that you ever wanted, Jax.
Cool.
Congratulations. So, we move on, and it's time for you, there, Mouse. So we're looking for a rare 8 Precision X blaster rifle, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, fantastic.
Anything else you want to throw at me?
Yeah, I mean, so the fact that it's rare 8 is going to be, it makes it a hard check. First of all, I think that because you're going after such a, you have the blue dice from Jax and you have the black dice from Jax, both helping and hurting you. I'm upgrading it because this asking like specifically for this level of weaponry might raise a flag. Just in general, and I'm also going to use a dark side point because you know what, it's one of those things that just has even more of a chance of falling on its face here.
Use the light side point. It's a good idea.
No, I'm not going to. I don't have enough skill points to really. I'm just going to fail this. Like,
stranger things have happened. There's blank sides on
just
all the
in
dice.
Case you have those.
So, streetwise would be acceptable here. As well as any of the knowledge checks that you think would be applicable.
Underworld?
Underworld would definitely apply here.
Okay. Yeah, that's... fine, I'll flip it. I'll flip one.
Okay, alright, I'll add an upgrade to your side. Whenever you're ready.
What just happened?
You just got a pimp gun, son.
You just got a pimp gun, bruh.
So,
What just happened? I don't.
Succeeded.
So I think that Mouse here's the deal. You're like leaving the shops and Jax is like not paying attention to you anymore. He's like, fumbling with his parts and like, counting all of his stuff up, and you're just kind of walking by, and you do that thing where like you walk by a window and then you stop and you take a few steps back and like just lean your head back. And like sitting on a pedestal with the light beaming down upon it is exactly what you've been looking for. The shop inside is dark.
The
and
Ranger BB gun.
Exactly. The shop inside
should be a
is
special gun. I think that should be the triumph, just like some.
So that's just the success, right? So there's a triumph here, which could mean any number of things. However, I think perhaps it is most appropriate. How do you feel about what if this thing already has a mod on it?
That's what I was gonna suggest, actually. Like maybe it was pre-owned and somebody modded it.
That's exactly what I'm thinking as well.
Um,
I'll let you choose it. It's your triumph, but I'll let you choose what the one mod that you want to have on it.
Heck yeah.
Go search through the books. Let me know what you think it might have on it.
I know what I want.
Okay, that's even better. I don't want this to be limitless, but if it is within reason, I certainly think it can work.
And I have a marksman barrel on it.
Sure. Where's that from?
That is from the core book.
Marksman barrel. Let me just look at it here real quick.
It's
+1/+1 range ban.
Yeah, it basically reduces the range penalties.
But I think that uses 2 hard points.
This thing has 2 hard points.
Does indeed.
Cool.
This thing has no wait, it only has 1 hard point. I'm sorry.
That's what I thought.
If you want to reduce the range penalties on it,
telescopic optical sight. Then.
Yeah, because Jax was gonna buy one for Mouse at one. I was thinking about if I had enough money afterwards. I was gonna buy one for you to be like, help you sniping, but he's free, so fuck that.
Oh yeah, so it actually only applies to the long and extreme ranges, but yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This connection is not doing me any favors.
That's
still my God was modified gun and high roll. God damn it.
That's good. That's all you need to know. If you wanted to have a telescopic optical sight, that's perfectly reasonable. 100%.
Yeah.
Already attached, installed, and set up.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you enter the store, you hear the ding, right as you walk in, and the bell goes off. And I think there's an old woman that kind of comes out from the back and like shoves some cloth flaps aside, and she's like, "Oh, dear, it is good to see you. I see that your eyes have locked onto this fine piece right here."
Yeah, it's nice. Do you, I how I like it.
Yes, well, that's always what my son said as well. Used to be
Really?
his.
Oh, what happened?
Well, he might have been a great shot, but he was never good with the drink and got into a scuffle one day. Fell, bumped his head.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
It's for sale, though, if you want it.
I
I'd
would.
feel much better it going to someone's hands, at least.
Yeah,
It's
I think I would like it.
such a beautiful piece. I wouldn't want it sitting here collecting dust.
Yeah, I mean it's yeah, I don't want it to collect dust either. I'm like practically like hover handing over it.
Yeah, and I think she's like, "Oh well, let's get you set up then." And as the you lift the weapon up, it kind of just fits, right? Like you lift it up and it's just like perfectly weighted, and you can tell like maybe you gaze down the sights and it just looks perfect.
I'm a little better at shooting now, so I kind of understand. Also, it feels a lot better than my slug thrower.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that like your slug thrower, like maybe you just like leave it like at the like on the floor while you're paying for this new weapon, and it's placed in like a very nice, very ornate box, where it just kind of rested in. It's got like this purple velvet as well, and you can tell like this box is custom made as well for this specific weapon to incorporate the telescopic sight that you have on it.
Jeez, okay.
And yeah, she closes it and latches it, very very daintily, and just kind of slides it across, and it's exactly the price what it says in the book. You get the telescopic sight for free. So
I'm gonna buy it then.
Yeah.
I love
so you hand over your 1,500 credits, and the old woman thanks you very much, and you can tell it's like she raises her head. She's like, there's like a tear streaming down from her eye, and she's like, "'Tis good. This is what he would have wanted."
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'll use it well, and I'll honor your son's memory.
Question mark?
Your question mark? I'm a little awkward.
Yeah, and I think that like she just nods in acceptance of that, and you know she heads back to the back and lets you leave with your package. And I think that like all of this occurs and no one else really notices, right? Like Kin, maybe you're like looking at some droid parts that you want to buy off on the off down the street a little ways, and Jax, you're still like trying to connect your grip and like figuring out exactly how you want it to sit on there. And then Mouse just like walks out with this thing strapped to her back.
I kind of imagine her with it like under her arm and as long as she is tall.
Yeah, exactly. What's the first thing that you say to Mouse when you see this?
Yeah.
Hey, hey, Jax. I found this. It's okay. It looks okay.
Jax would like gently open the box, and as he opens the box, his eyes kind of go wide, and he'll be like, "Mouse, this is a fine rifle. Really, really good gun. You should be like, how much should you pay for this?" Like Jax is looking at Mouse like Mouse is some kind of rich minted person that he was unaware of, that he was traveling with royalty.
Yeah, Jax, you don't even need to tell, like, this gun is immaculate. And is probably in the upper quality of anything you've ever really had before, right? Like, or even maybe even seen.
Seen.
Yeah, this is just in some random shop along the side of the road at Drunkenwell. Who knew such treasures existed?
Well, I imagine that she wasn't even supposed to sell it. Like she's working for like some other guy.
Right. See, if there was a despair, you wouldn't even know what happened yet.
Yeah. But yeah. Wow, I didn't know it was
there
secret.
wasn't, so we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jax. Yeah. And like looking at seeing the scope, Jax will be like, that scope will like really help you hit those long range shots.
Thanks. I mean, thanks for saying that. I'm glad I got this. I wasn't happy with my other weapon.
Honestly, like your long range shooting, that was more down to the weapon than to the shooter. And Jack says that not to try and be nice, but he genuinely would believe that. Like,
yeah, oh no. I mean,
at the end of the day, trying to snipe with a rusty slug thrower was never really going to be a good idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything that fires a projectile is just automatically less accurate than a blaster.
Mm-hmm.
Jax, I'll say, when we get back to the ship, we should put her through her paces a bit, and I also want you to show me how I can make some modifications to my gun.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, so we with smiles abound, Kin probably carrying like a crate of droid parts, right? Like I'd like to imagine.
On my back.
Yeah, I like to imagine Kin. Maybe you just like in fact, real quickly before we end the scene, do you know exactly what you're looking for, or are you just trying to buy in bulk, just to like have things to work on for the future?
It's more like when a kid goes through a junk shop.
Good. It's exactly what I was picturing. So Kin has this like
this looks good, and maybe Mouse will come over and say, "You don't really need that," but oh no, but look, it's better.
Perfect. So I think that in the interest of that, you have this crate strapped to your back, right? And it's got like various droid parts. We can see like actuators and like different like appendages sticking out, like some claw feet, some
a couple of what was it called, like tank feet or something like that. I'm not sure what it's called.
Ken, you should definitely, because you have a head of a droid, right?
Yeah, and
you should definitely put a torso. You should definitely put a torso on it and carry it around like Chewbacca carries around C-3PO.
I think there was already plans to do that, I think. Cool, yeah. So you collect your 750 credits worth of droid parts. And the group of you heads back to the ship. So I want to bounce over to Dash real quick. So Dash, you were going to go try and find some. Did you decide on the armored clothing? Is that what you were going to do?
There was a few things while Dash was browsing that he happened to spot. Two specific locations were a general purpose like weapons and armor like stall, and another is a electronics shop.
Okay, all right. So your armor clothing is, we talked briefly about this, but the armored clothing is basically like it's actual ceramic body armor essentially that you can wear over top of your normal clothing, or underneath like a big bulky jacket or whatever.
I'm not gonna choose armored. I'm gonna choose padded.
Oh, you're going with padded. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. So if you're going with padded armor, now padded armor is it's only rarity 1, so you can totally just find whatever you want and pay for it if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna pay for that. And while I decided that since why not? I'm gonna go over to an electric shop, and I'm going to decide to upgrade and buy a comlink and a data pad.
Okay. Everybody has comlinks already, right?
I know I have a handheld, but I want to upgrade it to long range. I don't know if that makes sense.
So is there like a long range comlink that you want to get so that you can communicate further distances? Okay.
I mean, will it make a difference from the handheld one, or?
Well, yeah. Is there an actual item that you're looking at that that says so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the
comlink
long range versus handheld. Oh yeah, absolutely, it makes a difference. So, for example, like here's just since we're talking about Mouse's awesome new sniper rifle. If Mouse were at her range, your handheld comlinks would not be able to talk to her anymore.
Okay, I cannot hear you. The connection is poor. I swear. The bars are just dropping and like.
That's so weird because we can hear you just fine. I don't know why.
My connection is bad, dude. I don't know. I'll switch to my phone and see if it works.
Okay. All right. But yeah, just for everyone's knowledge, like the long range comlink, like you could actually communicate between like starships with that kind of technology. Yeah.
How much does that cost?
It's only 200 credits. To do that, but it is like
so we have the handheld ones, and he's going for a long range.
Correct. Yeah, he wants to get a long range one, which is probably a good idea. To be fair,
like
obviously when you're on your ship, like when you're on a ship, you can communicate because you're on a ship and you can use the ship's communications. Yeah. But like, yeah, no, a long range communicator. I would kind of envision it that it would. I don't know if it actually says specifically. Talking on my butthole, but.
I think maybe you're confusing starship range and personal range.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Obviously, this is personal range up to long range. Sorry, what was that? There.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna restart my laptop and see what that does to the connection.
No worries. All right, so we move on to Zian then.
Yeah.
Since it sounds like he's not buying anything rare anyway.
I did have a question about the communicators. Would I be able to modify ours to be long range? Like if I were to do mechanics checks and stuff like that?
The small one says personal comlinks are often small handheld cylinders capable of communicating over distances into low orbit.
Right. So the long range ones are bigger than that. And that's what I mean. Yeah, the handheld ones are pretty good, but obviously they can be interfered with at longer distances because it's just radio technology, right? Because it's Star Wars. You know, it's basically the technology we had in the 70s. So there's not only is there possibility for interference, but there's also a delay, even with the longer and longer you get. I'm looking for the stupid. Let me just type this in. I guess. Oh, there we go. Comlink. Yeah, so essentially it doesn't specify what the long range one does, but I would specifically say that it's much more reliable and also could like I said communicate with a ship in orbit. Like you know, maybe you could communicate with the handheld one on a ship flying by, but if you wanted to talk to somebody actually out in space from the planet, you'd need a long range one.
So another thing is, I wanted to trade my old one that is about like 25 credits. Would it be a problem just to say like, as I'm with the guy, just like, hey, could you about 25?
So you don't sell things for their full rate. You sell them for.
Can I charisma to like about half the price and now just like 5 credits?
I would normally say yes, but comlinks are such common items that nobody's going to negotiate on the price of a comlink.
You know what?
Does that make sense?
I'll just ask her 5 credits to, you know, like have a, like, you know, what's the word? The word I'm looking for is a rounded number, which is going to be 400. So I'm just going to ask a person to give me 5 for this thing and just say like, please, at least. It's like one more thing. It's like 5 credits.
I think she'll take 10 credits off the total cost, so you could pay out 190 for a long range comlink if you wanted it. Does that seem fair to you? Okay, so, yeah, totally.
Yeah, so that puts me in a data pad, a comlink, and armored clothing. No, not armor, padded clothing.
Padded armor, right? Yeah, cool, totally.
Yes.
So as the three, as Kin, Jackson, and Mouse are all leaving, Dashley comes running up to you with a bunch of packages in his arms, with all the stuff that he's purchased. So, the mall trip was a success. Congratulations.
What does a datapad do?
A datapad's like a computer, right?
Okay,
Because your comlinks are literally radios; they're not cell phones.
Yeah.
So if you want to like type anything or record any information, you need a datapad.
Okay, cool.
That's why I took it. I'm the data guy.
Yeah.
We have one and a long range one. Also.
Moving on to Zian though, because I do want to get to this for sure.
Yeah. So I'm gonna start with operating under the assumption that my master has told me a story of a planet that the Jedi would use to go to find their lightsaber crystals.
Sure,
So,
I definitely think that that's a thing. Like that
starting with a lore check, I would guess.
Yeah, that seems fair.
Do that. See if I can find anything.
So I think that it is reasonable to assume this is going to be at least average here.
Yeah.
Because, and I would make it hard, but I think average for you because you've been trained. Like you're literally following Jedi code, so it's definitely reasonable. Like maybe you've heard of a story, you just don't know where that place is anymore, right? Like that might be the correlation here.
Like it would take Dash a while to find it because
you might have to like bust out some star charts and have Dash help you with a navigation check or something.
Yep.
To figure it out.
I can help with that.
But I think also I'm going to add a black dice here because Drunkenwell is not the harbor of all knowledge.
Yeah.
Even in in a general sense.
I do have a
The
talent
harbor
that
of
gets rid
gossip.
of a black dice, so...
Oh, there you go. Perfect. So there's no black dice here because even in the bastion of black market droid planets, you can still find that snippet of knowledge that you need to find. So yeah, let's start with a lore check and we'll see what stories you're able to... It's not what you're able to recall, but what you think is true and what you can correlate with the knowledge of the world right now. So just an average check whenever you're ready.
So question, does padded armor go over or under clothing?
So yeah, I think that is kind of that's kind of the crux of the biscuit here, right?
Yeah.
Is you're on Drunkenwell and they don't really have great vast, like they have libraries and places of academia, right? But they're not really what you want. Now there definitely are places that you know of that would probably have different ideas, and this doesn't mean that you don't know those stories, right? This just means that correlating to them to specifically where or when or how you might go find something, maybe not.
Could I maybe
Sorry.
Yeah, what's up?
I was gonna ask.
What's up, Zian?
Don't mean to.
I'm trying to think of like if I can do some sort of check to find out where a better place might be, or if there's somebody in this area that might know something about it.
All right, yeah. So you're still in the I believe you're still in the core world.
Yeah.
So I think that if you wanted to like make a core world's knowledge check here, maybe you can find a better world to go.
Gotcha.
Look, actually, you're in the mid rim.
Okay.
What are my options?
Unless it's xenology, it's the exact same check for everything. So.
Yeah. Okay. And it's not xenology. So why don't we make a core worlds check here? I think that it's fair to say it's average again.
Okay.
And I would dock a black dice, but you'll just remove it again.
Yeah.
So. Wow. Okay,
I'm just not good at that right now.
So this is the cool thing is
you can researcher's block.
Yeah, you can never do the same thing twice to get the same result, but you do have technically one more option available to you, which would be an outer rim check.
Yeah.
You wanted to just maybe this is how we decide the direction the party goes in. Okay. All right. So
okay.
So here's the deal. You have no idea where to even start, really.
Yeah.
Like as far as trying to figure out, like, you know that there's these stories of these planets that have like, you know, that were home for some of these crystals. You do get some advantage though, and I think that the advantage you get here is that you believe that places in the outer rim are probably better for searching. Right. I think that's your advantage here.
That sounds pretty legit.
And I think that the reason for that is the outer rim still isn't even fully explored, right? Like there's still bastions of perhaps knowledge that exist out there. The inner rim, even the mid rim and the core in the inner rim, they're so kind of getting to that point where they're so explored that everything's kind of known about them already. So you would have heard, or people it would have been picked over already. So when you're going for archaic crystals of power, perhaps going to the less traveled parts of the galaxy are better.
Yeah.
Now, as far as like a specific location,
fuck it, no clue.
Let's figure out where the party's going. But you'll have a better chance, in the outer rim at finding those things.
Okay, sounds good on that.
Okay.
And really, I think that's all that I might have been looking for, I guess. Unless, you know what? On the same kind of token of researching stuff, I want to see if there are any other stories of the Jedi.
Sure.
And maybe there's something I can track down to get some more information on just Jedi knowledge and teachings and stuff like that aren't from my specific master.
Yeah, cool. So I think that I don't think that is specifically a role here. I think that I have a narrative scene for you that I was going to introduce, and it's just convenient now.
Okay.
So as you're sitting there, researcher, and you're probably kind of lost a little bit in your work, right, Dan? Because like the thing about not succeeding at something is that it kind of, in this situation, I think drives you deeper into trying harder, because you're like, I know there's got to be something here somewhere, right? And I think that time escapes you. And before you know it, like the star of the system is setting, right? I was gonna say the sun, which I probably should say anyway because everybody knows what that means. But like the sun of the system is setting, and it's starting to get dark, and like the lights are starting to flick on. And I think that there's a woman who approaches you. She's a Twi'lek, and she walks up and she's wearing like glasses, spectacles, right? And she's clearly like one of the librarians here in the place of academia, which you are at. And obviously it's pretty small and cramped, and there's not a whole lot of like room. And you probably interacted with her like when you first came in, perhaps, like saying, hey, where can I find some stuff about this? And she pointed you in the right direction. And I think that there's probably a moment where she comes to check on you. And she's like, you've been here for quite some time. Is there anything that I can get you? Perhaps something from, something to eat or drink? I wouldn't want you passing out or anything.
Oh, thank you so much for your generous offer. I'm quite all right on food and drink. I'll probably be heading back to my companions shortly.
Oh, yeah, okay. And you see her eyes kind of flick to the book that you're reading, right? And she's like, did you find what you're looking for? These, well, I guess I don't know exactly what it is that you're looking for, but these things, you said crystals.
Unfortunately, I have not been able to find absolutely anything about this.
Oh, well, maybe I can help. I don't have very much work going on. And she kind of like looks around the library, and you realize it's like you and like two other people in like this fairly large building. She's like, I don't have a lot of returns today. Not a lot of checked out either, but maybe I can help go through some of the logs.
Well, I don't know if the subject is so esoteric that it's not even likely to be here, but I would gladly welcome the assistance.
Yeah, I think she kind of puts her hands on her hips and she says, I've worked in this library my entire life. If it is here, I will know it.
Are you doubting me?
And I'll kind of describe it to the best that I can. It's like, I've heard stories of a planet where powerful crystals grew that were able to be socketed into devices, and not like explicitly say it's a lightsaber, but if there's, you can probably infer quite a bit. But
yeah, and
they were used for other stuff in some other forms of canon. So
yeah, and she's far smarter than the average bear here.
Yeah.
And she kind of nods and she says,
"Library's full of bears."
I mean, yes, it's Star Wars,
Literal.
of course.
Oh,
I think that she says, "Oh, you mean like the stories, the ones they call the Jedi?"
Wait, you've heard of the Jedi?
Did say I spent my whole life here, right?
That's true. I've just never encountered anybody who knew about that group.
Yes, well, I spend perhaps 9 hours a day reading books. I've gone through almost this entire library at this point. Here, I think maybe I have something.
Don't you?
And then she kind of like hurries off. And maybe leaves you sitting there for a while, and perhaps it's like a moment too long where you're like, maybe she got busy or something. And she comes back, and you see her like kind of emerge from like the staff room, right? And she kind of like looks around as she does, and like closes the door, almost like quietly, like trying not to make too much noise. Maybe it's just because she's a librarian, who knows? And she kind of like runs over with like, you can see there's this. So most of what you've been looking through is archives, right? There's very few like paper books that exist in libraries these days. It's mostly like archives. But I think that what she has is like a tome in her hand, right? As she kind of like comes up, and she kind of like she looks around once again as she gets to you, and she like kind of sets it down. She's like, "Okay, I was looking at this, and I think that it might help." And you can see that she flips over some pages, some books, and to the Star Wars standard, this would be archaic. To our standard, it's probably resembles almost like a school textbook.
Okay.
Where it's kind of got like the glossy cover. It's the pages are printed in a very slick paper.
Yeah.
And as she's kind of flipping it over
in Corellia, because that's the Texas of.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly. And as she's flipping through it, you can see that there's a lot of imagery as well in this book, and a lot of it looks almost to be like, as she's kind of flipping through, you see what look like building schematics or like depictions of great monuments of some sort.
Huh.
And she gets to a specific page, and you can see that she points to it, and it kind of looks like almost a arid desert area. And you can see that there's like a valley that's surrounded by a couple of different like larger mountains. And then towards the end, you can see that there are these tall like stone pillars that kind of stand up, and there's an archway that connects, and it has like, this is like an artist rendition of what this looked like, and then next to it has like an actual image of what it looks like, right? And the image of what it looks like, you see like the archway is crumbled and the pillars are toppled. And I'm going to message you what it says on the page, and we'll see how you feel about that.
I have a couple ideas of what this is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, this is what it says the planet is. So
yeah, figures on that.
Now it's up to you to determine whether or not you know what that is or not.
I don't think there's. If I know anything, it's probably very, very vague. So let's do a thing. Okay. And see. I don't know if this will do what I want it to do. That's not what I wanted it to do.
Sorry.
Where's my
I have dice in the pool. If you just want to set up like a roll, you can just put the amount of dice that you want in there.
I don't know how to do it outside of this, but it's just not going to be anything attached to it.
Yeah. So yeah, I've removed all my dice. If you just want to add some dice and make a decision for yourself based on that roll, that's totally up to you.
I need to roll a single force die, and I don't know how to do that.
Oh, okay. So in the dice pool that you have at the top of your character sheet, just put 1 in that middle block with that little force dice symbol next to it.
Okay.
Just put 1 in there and then click that button. There you go.
Nope.
It rolled 2.
Okay.
But you can just take the first one if you want.
Okay.
It rolled 2 because I was simulating doing it on my own.
Okay. Gotcha.
So.
All right. So I'm gonna say that I know about it being dangerous.
Sure. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
So it's like I haven't really heard much about this place aside from it being just extremely dangerous.
Well, it says here, and she kind of like flips over to the text portion of the book, and she says, it says that a great number of force users used to train here. I would assume that if you were looking for items or relics that they had, maybe visiting a place like this might help. I don't really know.
I greatly appreciate it, but I don't think this place is a safe place for me. But
no, I understand. I wouldn't. We wouldn't want to put you in any undue risk. And she kind of like slides the book, and she looks a little dejected that she wasn't able to help. And as she closes it, and she says, "Well, maybe there are other places that are in stories that you could go to. I know that. Well, I like to read about the and she kind of like is searching for what to call them. She's like, well, I guess they call themselves the assembly members. You know who I mean, right?
I don't actually. Who are the assembly members?
She's like, oh, you haven't heard of the assembly? Oh,
no.
Well, they've founded a well, I guess you could call it a religion of some sorts. They're located in the Outer Rim. I believe they're based on the world of Yavin, or one of the moons around there. I'm not particularly sure, but a great many members of the Commonwealth follow their teachings. Maybe they know a place. I don't know.
That's certainly a possibility. I'm very wary of groups like that, though. I've been told that power like that tends to corrupt or cause problems for lots of people.
Well, yeah, yes, of course. History has told us many times that those in power let it control them. I was just simply saying that I think that they found a place like this, and she kind of like, taps the book.
Yeah.
And she's like, maybe that means there are other places and stories that you can go to.
Definitely. And what I would very much appreciate it. I know if you were to hear more of things like that, if you could let me know, and maybe give her my information if she would be so kind as to forward me anything if anything she finds out, if she finds out anything.
Yeah, and I think her eyes kind of light up, and she's like, yes, of course. I can send messages to you if that is what you wish. If I find anything, I can start right now.
It's like just whatever you want to do, if it's in your free time, if that's something you're interested in. I don't want to impose on you.
Oh no, it wouldn't be anything like that. I promise.
So,
yeah. So do you just kind of do the okay, I gotta go now. It's kind of late.
I think I'll just kind of like. Well, I'll definitely ask her for her name, because that'd be a little weird if I didn't, and
yeah,
do proper introductions and kind of bow and excuse myself.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that as you stand up, she kind of greets you. And well, my name is a bit hard to pronounce, but you can call me Unan. And this is...
Okay, let me jot stuff down in notes.
Mhm.
Twi'lek waifu.
Correct.
This is gonna be my second Twi'lek waifu, apparently.
Huh?
Yes,
One of my
I'm
other
sure you'll
games.
find her. Oh, never mind.
One of my other games, my character got drunk and got married.
Oh, good. Good job.
Good. So
okay.
we made a contact with the librarian on Druckenwell, who doesn't have a whole lot of resources at her disposal, but has a burning passion for knowledge.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And I'll thank her profusely and go to leave.
Cool. And I think that's probably a great place to take our break.
Yay.
So let's make it perfect timing. Let's just make it 10 minutes straight. And we'll be back at 10 after. Sound good?
Yep.
All right. We'll see everybody then. All right. For those of you watching, thank you for being here. We're going to take a quick little break as I need to get up and stretch my legs and get a drink because my throat is going dry. And we'll be back in just a few minutes. Stay tuned. 2 more hours coming up right after this.